They were calling me petty and vindictive right there in the courthouse hallway, loud enough for strangers to hear, like they wanted the words to stick to my skin. His sister was pointing a finger inches from my face, his mother standing behind her with that tight smile people wear when they're sure they're right. And the funny thing is, they honestly believed I was about to break, that I'd start crying, begging, apologizing for overreacting. They had no idea that 5 minutes later a single question from a judge was going to turn their entire world upside down. Let me back up. My name doesn't matter much, but let's say I'm Claire, and the man they were defending, the golden boy in the tailored suit pretending not to know me, his name is Ethan. We were together for 11 years. Not the kind of 11 years you brag about on Instagram, but the real kind. Bills, routines, quiet dinners, shared passwords, shared dreams. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't loud. I was the person who made sure the lights stayed on while he talked about how bright our future would be. Ethan loved ambition. He loved saying that word. He said it like it was a personality trait instead of a hunger that never shut up. He worked in consulting, always chasing the next big client, the next promotion, the next proof that he was special. I worked in compliance and data analysis. Not sexy, not impressive at parties, but it paid well, and it made sense to me. I liked knowing where things stood. I liked numbers because they didn't lie unless someone forced them to. His family never liked me much. They were polished, loud, proud of appearances. His mother, Lorraine, used to look me up and down and say things like, "You're very practical." That wasn't a compliment. His sister, Madison, treated me like I was temporary furniture. Useful, but replaceable. Ethan always said, "They'll come around." I believed him because believing him was easier than admitting I was alone in that marriage. The cracks didn't start with cheating. They started with math. Small things at first, a few withdrawals I didn't remember authorizing. Credit alerts that didn't line up with our spending. When I asked him, he brushed it off. Business stuff, he said. You wouldn't get it. That sentence should have stopped me cold, but love makes you stupid in very specific ways. Then, one night he came home late, sat across from me at the kitchen table, and told me he felt constrained. He said I was obsessed with control, with budgets, with caution. He said he needed someone who could match his momentum. And just like that, 11 years became a resignation meeting. No yelling, no apology. He packed a bag and left. Within days, I saw the photos. A younger woman, all angles and confidence posting from restaurants Ethan once said were a waste of money. His family closed ranks instantly. I became the bitter ex who couldn't handle being replaced. So when I filed for a full financial disclosure as part of the separation, they lost it. Lorraine called me screaming. Madison sent texts accusing me of trying to ruin him. "You're just mad he upgraded," she said. Yeah, that one stung. But I wasn't mad. I was confused, because the numbers still didn't add up, and when numbers don't add up, there's always a reason. You just have to be patient enough to find it. What I found wasn't just spending, it was identity theft. Loans taken out in names that weren't his. Credit lines opened using family information. Assets leveraged without consent. He hadn't used my name because he knew I'd notice. He used theirs. His mother's pristine credit. His sister's clean financial history. He funded his new lifestyle by quietly setting fire to their future. I had a choice. Walk away and let it burn, or report it and become exactly what they already thought I was. Vindictive. I reported it. Not to punish him, but to stop him. Because if I waited, they would lose everything and not even understand why. That's how I ended up in that hallway. Ethan standing tall in his suit. His family calling me names, and me sitting there calm because I already knew the ending of the story. They just hadn't read the third act yet. Inside the courtroom, the judge, a woman with sharp eyes and zero patience for nonsense, reviewed the forensic report I submitted. She let the silence stretch. You could feel Ethan getting nervous. His lawyer leaned over, whispering reassurance. Then the judge spoke. She said his defense claimed I was acting out of spite, that I was emotionally unstable after the breakup. Ethan nodded along, playing the victim like it was second nature. Then the judge asked one question. She looked at his family sitting behind him and said, If she hadn't reported this, which one of you was prepared to go to prison for the fraud committed in your name? No one answered. Lorraine's face went pale. Madison stopped breathing, because suddenly they understood. The loans, the defaults, the forged signatures. The judge laid it all out calmly, precisely, and then she said something I will never forget. She said, "The only reason you are sitting there as victims instead of defendants is because the woman you've been calling Vindictive came forward." Ethan shrank. Not metaphorically. Physically. He looked smaller in that chair, like someone had let the air out of him. His lawyer tried to interrupt. The judge shut him down. Assets frozen. Investigation escalated. Restitution granted to me. Referral to federal authorities. Done. As officers moved toward Ethan, I didn't feel happy. I felt empty. Relieved, maybe. Like setting down a weight you didn't realize you were still carrying. Lorraine reached for me outside the courtroom, tears streaming, apologizing through sobs. I told her the truth. I said she didn't want to know before. She wanted the story where her son was a hero. And then I walked out. If this were a movie, that would be the end. But real life doesn't wrap things up that neatly. In the hallway, I passed the woman Ethan left me for. She smiled. Not nervous, not scared. She leaned in and whispered, "You think you won." He was just the front man. And then she walked away. That's the part people don't like when I tell this story. The part where the villain isn't just one person. The part where winning doesn't feel clean. Because I did get justice. I did protect myself. But I also learned something uncomfortable. That sometimes the person you're fighting isn't the loud one, or the obvious one, or the one everyone points at. Sometimes it's the one who lets everyone else take the fall. I'm rebuilding now. Slowly. Carefully. With boundaries I didn't have before. And yeah, some people still call me vindictive. They say I went too far. They say I should have just walked away quietly. Maybe. But I sleep at night. And they sleep knowing the truth finally caught up with them. So here's my question for you. When someone exposes a lie that keeps an entire system standing, are they cruel or are they necessary? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them. And if you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or painted as the villain for refusing to stay quiet, tell your story too. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can be is the person who keeps the receipts.